You don't need to block her. You don't need to beg for her attention. Forget the games, the silent treatment, or trying to make her jealous. There's one simple thing you need to change: your energy. Right now, she expects you to follow the same old script. When she pulls away, she expects you to chase her. When she ignores you, she expects you to try even harder. When she shows interest in someone else, she thinks you'll panic. She's seen it all before, and she believes she has you figured out. But here's the twist. When you stop responding in the way she expects, the game changes. At first, she won't even notice. She'll think you'll cave eventually. She believes that sooner or later you'll be the one to break the silence and come running back. But you don't. You're not angry. You're not desperate. You're not begging. You're simply different, and that's the part that starts to mess with her mind. She thought she could walk away and you'd always be there waiting, but the moment she realizes that you're no longer emotionally tied to her whims, everything shifts. She feels the uncertainty creeping in because now she can't predict your next move. And that uncertainty? It's what starts to haunt her. She'll try to push it out of her mind, stay busy, pretend she's fine, but the silence won't let her. Every time she tries to forget about you, it resurfaces stronger than before. It hits her when she's least expecting it, laughing with friends, scrolling through her phone, or just lying awake at night. And suddenly, there's only one question in her mind: what if I lost him for good? That thought, it wasn't supposed to matter. It started as a fleeting curiosity, something that didn't even register. But now, it's an obsession, because the more time passes, the more she realizes there's no sign you're still thinking about her. You're not watching her stories, liking her posts, or finding little ways to stay in her world. You're gone, and that's when the panic sets in. She thought she had you figured out, that she had control. Even when you weren't talking, she knew you'd always be there, quietly watching. But now that sense of security is slipping through her fingers, and it's terrifying. She tries to convince herself she doesn't care, but deep down, she knows she's losing something important, and she has no idea how to stop it. The fear creeps in, growing stronger by the day. The thought of losing you is no longer just a passing curiosity. It's a full-blown fear she never saw coming, and now she can't escape it. She told herself you were playing hard to get, that you'd break eventually. But now, with every passing moment, it's clear. You're not coming back. You've moved on, and it's happening on your terms, not hers. And that's when she realizes she's losing you, and she doesn't know how to stop it. She checks her phone again, hoping for something, anything, a text, a notification, a sign that she still holds a place in your world. But every time she looks, there's nothing. And that silence? It's growing louder, more deafening with each passing second. It used to be easy to tell herself you were thinking about her, that even if you weren't reaching out, you were still somehow affected. But now, she's not so sure anymore. And that uncertainty, it's starting to eat away at her, and she can't shake it. For the first time, she's realizing she's no longer in control. She always believed she was the one pulling the strings, that no matter what, she could walk away and return whenever she felt like it, and things would fall right back into place. But now she's feeling something she's never felt before when it comes to you: complete and utter uncertainty. It's gnawing at her, relentless, and it's driving her crazy. Now she's faced with a decision. She can keep pretending she doesn't care, act like it doesn't matter, and let the space between you two keep growing. But that would mean losing you for good, and she's not ready to face that. Or she can take a chance. She can make a move, but not out of confidence. Not because she wants to, but because she can't bear the thought of losing you forever. The fear has taken over, and it's pushing her to act. The longer she waits, the harder it becomes. She can't control it anymore. She can't suppress the urge. Every time she tries to focus on something else, her mind drifts back to you. She told herself she wouldn't be the one to reach out, that she'd never cave, that she'd never let on how much this is affecting her. But here she is, on the edge, struggling to hold on to her pride. Her emotions are winning, and she's about to do something she never thought she would. She has to do something. She has no choice. But here's the catch. She can't just text you like everything's fine. She can't send a message that screams, "I miss you," because that would give away exactly how much she's been overthinking. She can't let you know how badly she's been wanting you back without feeling like she's surrendering all the control. So, she's got to be subtle. She needs to find a way to get your attention without giving herself away. Her first move, a small, calculated gesture, a like on one of your old posts. Something so casual, it's almost invisible, but just enough for you to notice. Maybe a random story update that's vague enough to make you wonder if it's about you. Or a message, just a casual check-in, pretending to ask something trivial. But really, it's to see if you'll respond. She's not trying to have a full conversation. She just wants to know if you're still there, if you still care. If you respond quickly, if you show that same excitement, if you fall right back into the old rhythm, she'll feel like she's won. She'll get the reassurance she's been craving. She'll tell herself, "I still have him. I'm still in control." But if you don't respond the way she's hoping, if your reply is short, indifferent, if you don't match her energy, that's when the panic starts to hit. Because now she realizes that a little breadcrumb isn't enough to reel you back in. And if you're not reacting to this subtle move, she'll have to do more, not because she wants to, but because now she feels like she's got no other choice. She'll start chasing you without even realizing it. Her first move didn't work, and now she's desperate. She thought that small, clever nudge would be enough to pull you back, but it wasn't. You noticed it, sure, but you didn't jump at the chance to engage like she thought you would. And that's when the real panic sets in. The silence, the distance, it's all sinking in now, and she knows she might be losing you for good. She's reached a point where she can no longer ignore the truth she's been desperately avoiding. She misread everything. She thought you were waiting, that any small gesture would be enough to bring you back into her orbit. She convinced herself that with a little nudge, you'd come rushing in, eager to pick up where things left off. But now, she's starting to realize that the tables have turned and she's the one being overlooked. And that feeling, it's unbearable. Now, as reality sets in, she sees the situation through a completely new lens. The power she thought she had is slipping away, and for the first time, she's realizing she's the one who has to make an effort. But she can't show it. Not yet. She can't let you see that she's chasing you. She can't admit that she's losing control of the situation. She can't reveal her vulnerability. So she tries again, but this time, it's a little bolder. She watches your stories more often, hoping you'll notice the shift. She sends a message that demands a response, something that can't be ignored. She casually drops an inside joke or a shared memory, hoping to trigger a spark of emotion in you. She tells herself it's just a check-in, a harmless test, but deep down she knows it's more. It's her trying to reel you back in. She's convinced she's still in control. She tells herself she's just testing the waters, casually seeing if you're still interested, but the truth is, she's the one seeking validation. Because if she wasn't losing you, she wouldn't be trying so hard to make you notice her again. The fear of being replaced creeps in, and that's when she realizes how far she's gone. She wanted to be subtle, to give off the impression that she wasn't desperate, but when her attempts fall flat, the fear grows into something much darker. Now, she's not just wondering if you're ignoring her, she's consumed by the thought that someone else might have taken her place. Before, the idea of losing you to another woman was distant, something she never fully allowed herself to consider. But now, she can't stop thinking about it. Did she wait too long? Has someone else stepped into the picture? Is it too late for her to fix this? The insecurity begins to eat away at her, and with every unanswered message, every moment you don't reach out, she's left wondering if you've moved on. She never thought she'd be in competition for your attention. She always assumed she had you in her pocket, even if she wasn't fully present. But now, she feels the need to fight for you, to prove that she still matters, and it's a feeling she wasn't prepared for. Now, she's checking everything, messages, your social media, even your activity status. She's looking for any hint that another woman has entered your life. She analyzes your likes, your comments, everything, searching for clues, trying to piece together the mystery of where you stand. And with every second she spends in this digital detective mode, the reality hits harder. She's losing you, and the more she digs, the more desperate she feels. She thought she was testing your patience, but in the end, it was her own sense of security that was tested, and it's crumbling fast. The silence, the lack of response, the absence of any urgency from you, it's making her panic. She's not just trying to see if you still care. She's trying to reclaim something she took for granted. The urgency to pull you back into her world, the power she once had, is slipping through her fingers, and now she's scrambling to get it back before it's too late. She never imagined she'd be in this position, feeling rushed, uncertain, and completely out of control. She was the one who created the distance, the one who pulled back, the one who thought she had all the time in the world to figure things out. But now, with every passing moment that she doesn't hear from you, with every second that goes by without any sign you're still emotionally invested, she starts to feel like she's slipping further and further out of your life. And that feeling, it's terrifying. She thought she held all the cards, that you'd always be there, waiting for her to return. No matter how long she stayed away, she thought she could waltz right back into your life whenever she chose. But now, that false sense of security is shattering, replaced by something far worse. The fear that she might be losing you for good. The pressure is on. She no longer has the luxury of sitting back, of waiting for you to come to her. What if she miscalculated everything? What if she pushed you away too far? That's why she has to act now. But she can't just rush back in, admitting her mistake, exposing her vulnerability. That would give her away. So instead, she starts looking for ways to reconnect, carefully crafting subtle moves to seem casual. She watches your stories again, hoping you'll notice. She sends a message with a seemingly harmless excuse, pretending it's about something else. She brings up past memories, small moments that remind you of what you once shared. But deep down, she's not reaching out because she just wants to talk. She's reaching out because she needs reassurance. She needs to know if you still care, if she still holds a place in your world. Because if she doesn't, then she has to confront a terrifying truth. She lost a man who actually had the strength to walk away. The hardest realization. She thought a simple message, a subtle nudge, a small attempt to reconnect would be enough to pull you back in. But now she's starting to see it more clearly. Nothing she's doing is working. You're not reacting. You're not chasing after her. You're not making it easy for her to regain control. And that's when it hits her like a ton of bricks. This isn't just a game anymore. You've actually changed. She spent all this time thinking she could dictate the timing, that she could step back in whenever she wanted, like nothing ever happened. But now, she's uncertain if she even has that option anymore. And what's worse, you're not angry, you're not bitter, you're not even trying to get back at her, you're just moving on. That's what truly breaks her, because she never stopped to consider what it would feel like if you stopped seeing her as someone irreplaceable. She always assumed you'd wait for her, that some part of you would always be there, no matter how long she stayed away. But now she's the one who feels like she's been left behind, and that's a feeling she can't shake. She thought she was testing you, but in reality, you tested something far more powerful, her ability to let go, and now she's the one who can't. But here's the truth. It's no longer your problem. Now you get to decide whether she deserves another chance. And when you realize that, everything changes.